For me, growing up was paradise. I especially loved the summers when our family moved from Manhattan to a bungalow in the Catskills, and my brother and I lived carefree with our pony, our treehouse, and long days at the lake. I felt about as American as a kid could be. Although a survivor, my mother talked little about the Holocaust. Instead, she preferred to tell stories about growing up with her family in one tiny room without plumbing or electricity. Strangely, when she occasionally did talk about her war experiences, it was always something positive, if that's possible. As far as I could tell, she was just a normal mother with a European accent, a keen interest in food and health, who occasionally tumbled into bouts of sadness. But the question of her missing family was a haunting one. Mom last saw them in 1942, and their fate remained unknown. For years I fantasized, and I'm sure she did too, that one of her family might one day walk through our door. My mother's silence on the Holocaust changed abruptly when she joined a support group to meet weekly with other survivors. My brother also took a class on the subject and started reading every Holocaust book he could find. I too found that I couldn't engage in an extended conversation without mentioning the subject. Our family had become obsessed with the Holocaust, and we all decided it was time to go back and visit Poland.
Yeah, I got my nose pierced. It really hurt. I have to go get those clothes I left, okay?
We're leaving in about 45 minutes.
In our group is my brother Donovan and his daughter Irena.
What?
You just can't go.
Why? I have to, but you don't understand. I don't have to know what they're
And
clothes.
we'll buy some for you.
Oh, guys.
Come on, Irena. No, it's just, look, it's too much of a risk and it's too much of a hurry.
She's very impulsive, I'm telling you.
I can't believe how uptight everyone is about leaving. We have been on family trips before, but I guess this one really is different.
Also traveling with us is our newest family member, my lovely wife Tanya. Her parents also lived through World War II in Europe, but they're not Jewish. It's kind of Freudian that my wife is named Tanya and my mother is named Tonya. We flew to Warsaw and boarded a train to Lodz, Poland's second largest city. My father Vachel loves trains and used to jump freights during the Depression. In part because he's not Jewish, he and my mother are almost completely the opposite, yet they've lovingly stayed together for 45 years. Lodz was more cosmopolitan than I expected. Still, it was a small city with plenty of factories and no sign of Jewish life for the thousands of Jews who once lived there. In fact, there was a lot of white power and anti-Semitic graffiti.
Right when I was 30 years old, and I went up to meditate one day in my room, and the sunlight was streaming in, and everything was just gorgeous. And nevertheless, I saw this intense darkness kind of in the distance, and I asked myself, what is that? And another voice in me said, those are your relatives. The Holocaust was still a burning issue in my life.
somewhere around 1942, they deported all the sick people, the sick children. I was also very sick here. I have to recollect my memories. I just remember the children were beautifully dressed with iron clean clothes and bows in their hair. The gurus and the little boys were dressed beautifully. And they ordered us to bring the children down, and there were Germans stamping all over and dogs barking, and some of the children, the Germans were throwing on the truck. Can you imagine taking a child and throwing it? It was just terrible. I took some children, and we had a residency, and I hid them. And when I came in the evening, they were there no more. They were taken out. It was horrible. It was miserable. And the mothers came, and they were screaming at me, and they were calling me murderer. And it was just horrible. I can't tell you. There was nothing I could say. And I live with this guilt forever. I mean, it's just beyond description. It just...
No, she never knew where the children went. And she found out when we saw this monument here. They only took those kids about a mile away and just pinned them up and let them starve to death. It was a real emotional catastrophe that affected Toni all her life.
Well, it was just 1 block away from your hospital.
But I never had to go. I ate in the hospital, I slept in the hospital, I lived in the hospital.
I understand. Don't wreck the place just because we're making a movie.
Sorry. From now on, I'm going to order my own herring, and I'm not sharing.
Oh, thank you.
Plain, and tell me how you like it.
Generous portion. Cutting you back to during war portions.
On my first date with my husband, Nick, he went into the history of his mother being a survivor from the Holocaust. Of course, I was like, oh my God, that's terrible. And then I went into the history of my father, who actually was a member of the German army. And he was joined because he was fighting communism. He himself hated the Nazis and was not a member by any means of the Nazi party, but he did fight in the German army.
There were certainly enough horrors to go around, but we were also really enjoying traveling as a family and visiting Lodz.
This is the movie we used to go with the family. We only lived 2 blocks, a very long blocks away.
Mom and her sister Irena read movie magazines and were up on all the latest American and French movies.
Clark Gable was okay, but Jean Gabin was my idol. You cannot imagine grandma being romantic, right, Irena? If you saw Jean Gabin, you'll be romantic also.
Mom even met someone who used to live on her old street.
His name is Olesla. I was a little boy, he was Bolek. Mojego brata na imię było Salek. To może Bolek and Salek play together, but you never can tell.
Działka to pamiętam taki.
We walked to the old Jewish cemetery. Mom used to go there with her boyfriends when she lived in the ghetto. It was the only place at the time with any grass or trees. I couldn't help but notice that there was feces smeared on the gate.
Being a girl, even we had boyfriends. At least we talked about boyfriends, you know. Before, when we were about 10, 11, 12. So we used this kind of leaf to see if the boyfriend loves you or not. So we say, kochać, nie kochać, kochać, nie kochać, kochać, nie kochać. Kochać! He loved me! Now you do it, Irena.
Think anybody's got a Got a bad chill from a freeze frame. I must think up a few more.
But the realities of the Holocaust just kept on coming.
You know, he's going to smash a camera. You better not fool around with these people.
The next day we found the second hospital where Mom worked, but the custodian refused to let us in. Eventually I slipped him a few zlotys and he let us pass, but he said no pictures.
Just put that camera in the bag and bring it in.
The Germans came in a motorcycle with an attachment, 3 of them, and they stepped out in their boots, and Dr. Weiskopf was a burly man, a tall man, and he walked out to them and he said he's not going to give up the children. So they talked and they argued and they talked back and forth and facing each other, and then he took out a gun and he shot them right there. And we, 3, 4 nurses glued to the window, like in shock, you know, our mouths open. Our doctor, not only this, he was a fantastic human being. He was a real good person. I'm afraid, please, let's go away from here. Let's go out. They're going to come out and they're going to see you take pictures. Let's hide everything.
You have to go in then.
Oh my God. I just want to get out of here. I want to go home. I don't know where my home is. I don't know where I want to go home. Which home do I think I'm going to want to go home to?
We insisted Mom show us the ward where she met her best friend, Bluma. Bluma was the head nurse and soon became Mom's confidant and mentor, teaching her poetry and treating her like a little sister. They stayed linked through the entire war, but in 1952, Bluma killed herself.
Byśmy chcieli zapłacić panu za wasze wysiłek.
My mother was distressed about visiting her old apartment. As many as 1,500 Jews were murdered by Poles after the war, many for trying to reclaim their homes and property. Amazingly, we had just met an old lady who asked if we were trying to do just that.
Start with 100 zlotys and 20 for the janitor. And we're going to hang back, like we'll be across the street.
Oh my God.
And just see
If
how
he's an anti-Semite, he can forget it. Oh my mouth. Oh my stomach. Ooh. Oh, it's the nerves.
The thought of seeing Grandma's old apartment was very intense. I had always heard stories about how she grew up in one room, fetching water with her sister, and stuffing their shoes with newspaper in winter.
Oh my God. Przepraszam bardzo. To jest mój syn Dany Fanny, to jest...
Miło poznać, Maryńcu.
I to jest mój syn Nikolas. Małe dziecko. To jest wnuczka?
Nie, ja wyglądam na dziadka.
No, pan wygląda... Pan wygląda wspaniały.
Chociaż jestem dziadkiem.
Dzień dobry.
Ale ja tu mieszkałam z moją rodziną. Czy możemy wszyscy zobaczyć pański pokój?
I proszę, pan tam sobie wejdzie w dół.
O mama. Przepraszam, możemy tu mówić?
Tam na dół, ale ja będę robił aplikację.
Now in this corner was the stove, the coal stove, and there was a cabinet, and there was a little guinea pig, and he was our alarm clock. So every morning he got up like this. Ee, ee, ee. I used to kiss him. He used to bite me, but then I learned to close his mouth and kiss him on the lippele. The cat was always here, and the guinea pig, and we had a dog too. We had a dog. And sometimes a chicken. Yes, because I used to buy a live chicken at the market. And
where would the chicken stay?
Here.
Right.
And walk around, too.
And did the chicken and the dog and the cat all get along together?
They seem to get along together.
I've always always heard stories about that room. Just, that's basically what Tonia's always told me, because she's never wanted to tell me about the war. Everything I know about Tonia from the war has been because of my dad.
My sister, Irena and I, and my mother slept in one bed near the window, and my brother and father slept in the next bed.
Sister Irena was very social and gregarious and had lots of friends. Family lore has it that when Irena was 2, she stood on a table and sang at her Aunt Hannah's wedding.
My brother teased me by squeezing my ear, and I squeaked. My mother was saying, "Stop it!" I was like a tomboy more. I was with my brother a lot.
Younger brother Salek was a handsome boy with dark eyes and long bangs, but was also quite witty and a bit of a prankster. While swimming one summer, he stayed underwater so long, my mother thought he had drowned and ran home crying. No photograph of him survived the war.
All 3 of us went to a private school, Jewish school, literary Jewish, not religious. We read Dostoevsky in Yiddish, which I didn't like, because I couldn't imagine making love in Yiddish. It was more attractive among the Poles. As far as I remember, every summer away to the country was very important to take the children to the fresh air. It was a manufacturing city. We always used to rent a place in a peasant's room.
My grandmother Miriam spoke fluent German, Yiddish, and Polish, and she was very well educated and could write using beautiful calligraphy. But she worked very hard keeping house and shopping daily, as all the meals were cooked from scratch. My grandfather Mendel was a secular Jew and a Bundist, but respected Jewish and Yiddish traditions culturally. Although he worked as a weaver in one of Lodge's many textile mills, he was very well read and considered an intellectual by his friends.
My father was very literate in the Inquisition, and he kept on saying that he's not leaving his house, he's not adding to the enemy, he's going to stay here. And then came. Boom, boom. Came very quickly once the war began. Every day there were new announcements telling us to go and live in the ghetto, where they don't, of course they didn't care, and gives us a date by the time we have to move. So in between, they were catching Jews just like dogs on the street, or sometimes a few, sometimes one, and just the family never saw them again. One time we were all home, and when there was a knock on the door, it was still in the very beginning, and Marilka, a friend of my sister, she was a little older actually, she was already a full-fledged professional nurse. And she was at the front, but she had a blanket wrapped around herself with full of holes, bullet holes. So she stayed with us a few days and a few nights, and I was so fascinated by her being a nurse and being on the front and doing, helping the soldiers. And I wanted to be a nurse so desperately. She actually helped me. It was her idea that I could go and apply to be a nurse. We were poor, but not deprived, but we had nothing, no reserves. Well, one day, Salek decided he's going to help out the family. There's no more work. So my father was smoking cigarettes. He made his own cigarettes. There was a little machine. So Salek, decided that he was a big man now, he was 11, that he was going to roll the cigarettes up and he will try to sell them. And we were all very proud that this little boy's becoming a man and trying to help out the family. And after a while, we heard kind of a heavy footsteps coming up the thing, and there comes in Salek through the door here, all bloody, beaten up, no cigarettes, no stool, nothing. Polish boys took away his cigarettes, kicked him and beat him up, and bloodied his nose. There was blood all over the face like this. Food was getting scarce. It was no food. It was decided that we should go to Enkreindo and see if we can have some food now. So my father was dressed in his best, and I was holding his hand on a street, and I see 3 or 4 Germans coming toward us, with their boots in their head, and when they about to pass us, one of them hit my father and knocked him over and screamed, "You goddamn dirty Jew, don't you know you're not allowed to walk on the sidewalk?" and kicked him and threw him into the gutter, and I wanted to die. I wanted to just be buried in a hole. I wanted to disappear. It was so humiliating. Oh my God. Till today, I think he didn't resist or do anything. If he did, he would have been shot on the spot, but he wanted to spare me.
My mother, age 14, left to support her family by working at the children's hospital in the Jewish ghetto. But because of the curfew, she only saw her family on the weekends.
The terror was indescribable. I mean, just to hear the boots on the pavement or on the cobblestones, you begin shivering with terror, because you didn't know what will happen next. I had a day off from work. As I was walking, I had to pass Piotrkowska and Andrzeja and Sierpnia, ulica Sierpnia. And as I was coming closer, I noticed there was an unusual quiet on the street. I come up those stairs, and I already had a foreboding feeling. Terribly foreboding feeling, because it was dead silence outside. I came up, and on this door here, outside, there was a skull and crossbow, as if a horrible disease happened. And I don't know how long after, when I was in the foundling home, I heard a rumor that there was a big raid was going on, and they will be going marching down to the trains. So I went there.
Aimed right at him.
Ja tak myślałam. Nie. Bo ja takie... Ja wiem. Po Palestyny ja się bałam.
Our family was getting more and more comfortable staying in Lodz, and we met some friendly local people who invited us over to their home for dinner.
We're sitting on the sidelines wondering what's happening, and Tony's going a hammer and tongs there and not letting us in on a single word.
Meanwhile, Irena made some friends of her own in the local park.
I liked getting away from the family and hanging out with some Polish kids. Even though most didn't speak English and I didn't speak Polish, we seemed to get along pretty well.
But we still had a lot to see. My brother wanted to find the exact spot where Mom last saw her family. He wanted to reenact this and other key events to help Mom expunge some of her terrible memories and to help us better understand what she had gone through.
During Christian holidays like Easter and Christmas, we didn't go out of the house because it was pretty dangerous for Jewish people to go out. There was almost like a good deed to kill a Jew.
While looking around, we also found the market where Mom loved to shop with her mother.
I teraz on zagotowań? That's the kind of apple we used to eat, wormy, because if a worm liked an apple, the apple was good.
The trip was turning into an emotional roller coaster. It was fascinating visiting Lodz and learning about my family, but depressing thinking about what had happened. As I looked around, I kept wondering what had these seemingly normal people and their families been doing 60 years ago. This market was also the same place where the Jews had to bring all their pets for extermination. Mom had to turn in her cherished guinea pig. Vach suggested that we honor the guinea pig with a rose.
Let me see. Little guinea piglet, that's for you. The memory of all the animals.
Co wy tu robicie, co? Na jubilejsie.
Zezwolenie trzeba mieć na kamerowanie, a co pani uważa?
A co to jest tak niedobrze zrobić?
Jak dobrze kamerować, sąsiad, przyjść sprawę. Przyjść na rynek kamerować.
Oh God, do I hate them. Do I hate them all.
When I was 10 years old, you know, I always wanted to go back to see Lodz or to see my roots. I never thought that it would be so serious. I think it would have been a lot different if there hadn't been a camera everywhere. I think that a lot more would have surfaced with me, just with everything, because I always felt like it was really impersonal to have the camera there asking questions all the time.
Watch it! Oh my.
Oh, Irina.
Oh my God. Did you put sunblock on your back? No, are you going to get all burned? Look at this gone. This gone. It's all.
Eventually we found a street that looked like the one where Mom had last seen her family.
And here I was standing and looking, trying to see who's coming, and some people I didn't pass by, and then I saw them. There was my father, and I'm not sure, I think it was my brother, my mother, and then my sister, and Irina was on the end. And on each side there were soldiers with rifles and bayonets on them ready to kill those.
So it was 5 people across?
5 people across, that's the way I remember. And I can't remember my brother and my sister, but I just remember my mother's eyes. They were just pools of sadness, kind of looking, you know. And my father, too, looked so sad. No, they didn't hold hands, definitely, they couldn't touch each other, they was not allowed. But I saw my father's hand just going, the outside hand, just looked like that, just going like a little bit like shoving me away, like telling me not to come close. And there were lots of Germans and lots of Volksdeutsche. There were young Volksdeutsche. One looked familiar to me. He was now in uniform with a hat. He probably was 16 years old. That I talked to, or my sister most probably talked to before. I saw him around the street. And at one point, when they were coming by, my father was doing that. And I surged forward, and he kicked me. He just, like that. Right in my stomach, and I fell back on here. Ouch! Oh.
What's that music noise, Don?
Oh, I hate them so much. I hate everybody. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't really do it. It's just annoying. I wish they would stop the music already. They took me inside here, and there always a janitor had a room, and they gave me some tea, and they washed my hair with water. They tried to take the blood away from my neck. That's the last time, the last time I saw my father, my mother, Salek, and Irina. The last time. never imagined that I would be in this place again. I never could imagine.
The main reason I want to introduce Irene to the Holocaust is so she doesn't have to go through 30 years of being tortured by it and then meditate when she's 30. So she can be tortured by her father, you know, for a few years, and then she's done. I'm like any kid who grew up with their parent one way. They look at themselves, they say, well, that wasn't so successful, so I'm going to do it the other way.
Unannounced, we went directly to the Mauthausen Dolna town hall.
Przepraszam, możemy wziąć?
Wszystko się dowiemy, wyjaśnimy sobie spokojnie.
Dziękuję. To moja cała rodzina i innymi żydowskimi ludźmi,
tak.
Bo oni byli tam w takim obozie i później do wagonów i później dostałam list od nich z Mauthausen Dolnej.
To jest taka kronika Mauthausen Dolnej.
Wow.
A to pisał pan Kaleciak. On pisał w 1964 roku. To jest, nie ukazało się to w druku. Kalczyński pisze w ten sposób i nie sądzę, że się myli dużo.
We were told that during the war there were 3 local leaders, a German, a Pole, and a Jew. The leader of the Jews was named Dudek Ransum. The leader of the Germans, Palmovi Pamgel.
Nie lubił Żydów.
Nie lubi. He didn't like Jews.
Ja przeczytam pani fragment.
A kto lubił Żydów? Powiedz mi pan. Wszyscy ludzie nie lubią Żydów. Dlaczego?
Ja się nie spotkałem na terenie Mauthausen, żeby ktoś był bardziej taki...
Ale pan jest bardzo młody. Tu mają Żydów teraz?
Nie. Dlatego mówię, mimo że jestem młody, że nie słyszałem, żeby były jakieś bardzo takie napięte stosunki, wrogie między...
O, pan jest tutaj major na...
Tak.
O, przepraszam bardzo. Że tyle czasu. He's mayor of Mauthausen Dolna.
I German collected about 20, 15, 16, 17-year-olds.
Polish boys. They told them to dig a hole.
A few days later, in the evening, my father's heard them shooting, yeah.
When we were finished, the mayor volunteered to show us around. After he got in the van, he passed us an old notebook.
It says Rodkov.
Oh no! I thought they maybe, I wouldn't know. I thought maybe they didn't know exactly. Or maybe they took my brother out.
There's only, but it's 3 Rodkovs, and it's different first names.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't want to look. What names are there?
3 Rodkovs.
Od Krakowa, od Łodzi, z tej strony tutaj zostali przywiezieni w tym takim podobnym wagonie jak tutaj jest. To 800 ludzi,
tak.
To jest salutki ten plac. Jeszcze mało będzie.
He called today a few Polish people. They said that they were surrounded by Germans and the Polish people want to give them bread or water. They couldn't.
W tą stronę, tu przez tą górę. Tam.
There were no houses. They made them walk. Or they told them to take off their clothes. They had to get undressed nicely. I suppose they had to put their clothes neatly down also on the ground. He said that they shot them back of the head, one by one, by one, by one.
I nazywał się Gelb, ten major Mauthausen, ten hitlerowski major.
Tak.
Kazał spisać wszystkich.
Now, is this close to Salek?
Very close to Salek. This is 9.
6, 9.
This is 9. And one was 6, 12, and 18.
Well, you're 18.
Yes.
Irka was 2 years older than you, right?
Yes, and Salek was 3 years younger than I am.
Well, that's pretty close. And Rough Cuff is a rare name.
Yeah.
Could this be pronounced Miriam?
No, Miriam, Mariam is the same.
Siał tu na kolanie, pytał się, jak się nazywasz, Teresa. Napisał Teresa.
He said that if you wrote...
April never has 20.
April, 30 days hasn't aired. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So it's a mistake. So there's many mistakes.
It was not a popular name at all. I don't know any other Rodka.
This must be them. This must be them.
The scene here with all these German SS bastards, you know, shooting people in the head, you know, and then probably going to lunch and coming back and doing it. As we imagine the blood running in this little ravine here. It's a disgrace to civilization.
It was a really good bonding family experience, I thought, and not with my alive family and my dead family. I mean, it was really cool to see my great aunt's gravesite, who I'm named after, you know, and I've always felt a special bond with her. Because Tony's always told me that my personality is like hers. Even though it was really sad, it made me really happy to go there, just to see where it was, and it was really beautiful up there. You know, I'm glad it wasn't like in a nasty, like, old, gross, yucky dump.
Irina.
It takes more than 30 seconds to get out of bed, you know?
You gotta get up now.
Stop.
I couldn't help but think how must have been terrible when they were awakened middle of the night, huh? Shouts and barks and dogs and shooting in the air.
After a week in Lodz, we were leaving on the 6 a.m. train, traveling the same route my mother did.
Isn't he Italian? Did you notice how handsome he was? Oh, God, I can't get over my weakness for Polish guys.
Once we had settled in, Mom told us about her deportation.
On the platform, there are the Germans in their boots and the German shepherds barking and the German stamping and screaming, raus, raus, schnell, schnell, Juden, schnell, schnell. And I look in this car, I don't know anybody. I look in this car, I don't know where to go. I didn't know where to go. So then all of a sudden, there's Stefan appeared. Stefan, he was a young man that somehow worked in the hospital. And he looked out and he said, Tonia, Tonia, tutaj idź. And he stuck out his hand and pulled me up. And they put the iron bolt outside, you could hear it, and close it all up, and that was absolute darkness. So here we go to Auschwitz. I didn't know where we were going. I didn't know. We were on the train, and I fell in love with Stefan. It also looked like the Auschwitz I came to with Nikki. Where are the guards, the barking dogs, the screaming people?
The whole town makes its living from, you know, the camp here. But some people can't take it, and they move out.
I'm tired, Alifan. I'm tired of the whole thing. Looks very pretty, doesn't it, Reina? Full of nice grass, sun, people in colorful clothes. Why not? People should come. I remember marching naked. I don't remember anything else. Just it was so horrible. Just you didn't know how to walk. And there were men all around, you know, guards, and probably growing out from some kind of a body, so it's so lovable. Well, even if it were all muddy and bare, one would never know what was happening here, including me. But now with the greenery and the pinks and the purples and the flower, I feel like it would be a perfect place to skip and jump and play with, like children playing, instead of children being dead, children playing.
I don't know, it's easy for me to picture there being no grass at all. I know that the grass here now is the present, you know, and it wasn't like that.
It's amazing that you can imagine that.
The way they're standing, you know.
The master race. Get a good picture of the master race, Nikki.
You know, oh boy, disgusting.
I'm going to sit here. The toilets I went to were on the ground. We squatted, and you could see through all the defecation underneath. And one time they threw in a person. I can see this person trying to get out, and the defecation and terrible things going, you know, inside. And it's every time I flush the toilet in the house, every time this vision comes to me. I didn't even know what was going on when I was here. I didn't know it. If I knew it, I wouldn't be here. It was a horrible kind of smell going around. like an insane asylum. They came one day, they got us all out of the barracks. There were lots and lots of people, they're different doctors, so single file you were going. I was checked, they said it was Mengele, I don't know. And he had a stick in his hand and he like poked me to make me to look this way, for me to turn that way, and he saw this thing I have on my leg. And he wondered what this was, and he saw my loop. He touched me.
He looked at your loop?
Yeah.
Did he pull on it or just touch it with a stick?
No, with a stick. You don't touch a Jew, don't you know that? You were terrified, your knees were wobbling, and then he poked you to indicate to go to this side. The field was emptying out, and I was here, and there were more and more people on this side. So we were maybe here, and they were listening very far.
Okay, Vach, why don't you and I go down there?
We were so cold and freezing and so terrified that we all kind of squeezed together. We were exhausted. We were lying down, you know, on the ground like this. Come here. We were freezing, so the people on the edge tried to get closer. And there are some people probably being squashed, so they tried to get out. And during the night, some women were crawling very close to the ground, coming over to our group. Because if you're not killed immediately, you still have hope.
Something like that?
Yeah. They gave us some wooden shoes and a dress and a little short kind of a shirt, a long shirt, and a piece of bread.
Irene, I want you to try these on. Okay, everybody get up, let's go.
Shouldn't we say that the shoes didn't, I think they had no backs, because when you have no backs, you kind of shuffle.
Okay, well, unfortunately, we're running really late. And
we
so
are
you guys...
running late. I want to get out of here!
The night that Irina and Donovan went to shoot in Birkenau at midnight, or some god-awful late hour, was one of the worst nights for me on the entire trip. And we, as a group, were somehow made to try, possibly, to relive some of these horrific events. And it seems wrong. It really worried me for Irina.
Up, Scotty.
We're not supposed to laugh. This is a sad, sad trip.
That bathroom is so much fun. Everything's like automatic.
Who wants juice with a little bug in it? The thing is that I would also like to make some Jewish stars, have you show us how to make them, and then we can all wear them as we walk.
Well, you have yellow material. Oh my God.
We're gonna wear the stars. Why?
No one is going to know that we're Jews, but if we're wearing the stars, then people will know.
Why do we want people to know?
Well, it's part of the process. Mind if I? Well, you got to get your strength up for the march.
I don't like doing that.
It's a little bit of a tough gig, but I think you'll find, just like when we went into Birkenau, that once you get rolling, once you're walking along, you will have a more intimate experience.
And I think that it's really corny if we walk around with big Jewish stars on our clothes. It's like yelling to everyone that we're Jewish and come pick a fight with us.
I hope that doesn't happen, but I have the right.
Why do you want to take the chance? Why
Well, I
do you
have
want to bring the terror back to Grandma of having to walk somewhere and be frightened that someone might be mad at you just because you're Jewish? I think that it's really pointless, and it gives me this creeps.
You're just giving a visual representation.
What if some skinheads are walking by and they don't want to see that, and then...
Tonya married a Gentile. She didn't, we were not bar mitzvahed. She didn't, you know, I always knew I was Jewish, but, you know, she kind of hid it away. We could hide it away.
I took 3 years of classes, and that was it, but I never ever got confirmed.
I consider myself Jewish, I consider myself genetically Jewish, I consider myself culturally Jewish, and I consider myself a religious, practicing, post-Holocaust Jew.
I don't even consider myself Jewish. I don't believe in the God. I believe in a type of God, a higher power. But I don't believe in Jewish God at all. And that's a bunch of BS, just like Catholicism.
As Job proved, your relationship to God is your own personal thing, and it doesn't have to be interpreted by any rabbi. My grandfather was killed because he was a Jew, even though he was an atheist. The tradition of atheist Jews is an ancient tradition. Now you call it a God, a spirit, a higher spirit. Well, if you wish to, you could broaden your interpretation one notch and include the Jewish thing.
While Donovan and Irena were arguing, I noticed a German fellow sitting in the corner by himself. It turned out he had grown up in Freiburg.
The Porzellanfabrik in the Frauensteiner Straße. Work, much people, but we couldn't speak with them. We couldn't see only from a big distance. Our teachers, and they said, that are murders and that are thieves.
This same porcelain factory is the place where Mom worked assembling German aircraft. The town historian and his daughter stopped by to show us around.
Jawohl, that's it. 5 Monate hier.
Ja, ich weiß.
Geschlafen.
Hier mit Schlafen und
Wanzen.
Ja.
Wanzen are bedbugs.
Ja.
In 5 Monate in Lager schlafen. Every day march to the city.
We looked around for a while, then drove the 2 kilometers to Hammerberg, where Mom's barracks had been.
Und hier, wo jetzt Garagen stehen, und hier Kleingärten. Auschwitz war Hölle, die Hölle, und Freiberg war Holiday. No?
Oh, except I was beaten once because I went to get some water without permission. Bang, 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 and here this ring that was here. I was stunned, and I turned back because and I saw my master. He turned like this. He said, "Why didn't you tell me that you're going for water? I will watch out for you."
Mom's master became a secret friend. She made presents for his children when he left for the holidays, and he occasionally hid food for her in secret places. When we were finished looking around, my brother was shown the historically correct route for our walk.
Ja.
I feel very uncomfortable and nervous about wearing the stars and marching.
I'm also a bit scared, and particularly looking at some of these German guys. They're really big and beefy and crew cut, you know.
I'm scared of that, of being hurt. And I don't like people staring at me. I don't like being looked at. I didn't like it in Lodz. I didn't like it wherever we go. I don't like people. People are always staring. I don't like it.
Sounds like it's a re-educational program for the people of Freiburg. Actually, I think that that imagery you're talking about would be very suitable at Auschwitz. Very suitable.
The people of Auschwitz, they did not mastermind the whole process. But now we're in the Reich. This is Germany.
Good eyes.
This is a very small needle.
We have to sew that on those on my clothes.
You know, I have this feeling.
Trying
There's a
to
higher
say.
up saying, you have to wear this star.
Right,
and I
that's-
can imagine what it must feel like, because it's a terrible feeling. Like right now I feel really uncomfortable.
If nobody else wants to, you know, they don't have to. So that's, you know, there's no higher up forcing you, but I'm going to make 6 stars and I'm going to wear 1.
Is this the right size?
This is the right size because I went to the Jewish Museum and I got an actual star and I measured it.
Now, when Tanya came in and she said that she's scared, I became terribly scared too, because the skinheads can come and hurt us or attack us.
Did you buy yellow material,
Well,
or did you just use it from your already yellow clothes?
We had to wear it if it's warm on our outer clothes, either dress or blouse, or when it's colder, on our jackets or coats. It has to be front and back.
Like if you had 2 or 3 jackets, you had to have 6 stars.
You probably took them off if you didn't have enough stars from your out jacket or coat and put them on your summer dress or summer.
What about a bathing suit?
There were no bathing suits.
You want to sew the first one, Tonya?
Yeah. Rich people had fancy stars, poor people had unfancy stars.
I'd be shot by the German soldiers because I have phrase all over mine.
You finished too.
Mom's good at it. She had the experience.
Well, you're not participating in...
I am so glad.
Oh, the dog is good.
Why? See, this is exactly it. You don't even realize that you're doing it. We are we're holding hands because we choose not to wear what the symbol means to us, or I should speak for myself, does not mean I'm not here walking and supporting in memory of the women, so don't say it. If I'm not participating, I'll go home. In your opinion, we're fine, right. So then make up your mind.
Well, you're not participating fully, put it that way, in a technical definition.
The minute we hit Lodz and I saw the first swastika, I was scared. I was scared. I really had visions of being hurt. I think I need to learn to confront these things and how fearful I felt and how fearful people back then who were truly being attacked and killed for their religion must have felt. I mean, it just gave me the slightest feeling of what it must feel like to not be in the majority.
Beautiful country, look at those trees on the side. So when they walked us to work every day, there were Italians and French and Dutch prisoners on the sidewalk, or at least seemed like they're looking at us. And one time, an Italian free prisoner ran into our files right in the middle, cowering like that, and giving a piece of newspaper news to a girl and saying the war is almost over. And the news went like a brush fire through the whole crowd of the women. By that time, we were maybe 500 walking, and it gave us such a lift, such a spiritual high. It gave us, we looked up, we smiled, because we thought this is going to go on forever. It was now when he ran out, We were so petrified they're going to shoot them. They had all the rifles cocked and the bayonets, but he ran right into the crowd among the Italians like that, and they couldn't tell which one it was. And it was incredible. I can't tell you what it did for us. A whole month of fantastic meals could never do it. We talked about it from then on forever. We were very much aware of the men. If you're not starved, you still, sex is the next thing on your mind. There definitely were flirtations without touching or ever talking. There were little particles in the air that made us terribly thirsty. One time when I get to get water, somebody said, psst, psst, psst. And then I looked and I was petrified and I saw this guy crouching. So I stopped and he rolled me this apple. I couldn't believe an apple at this time was like ambrosia. So I put it right into my bosom. It gave me a fantastic feeling that somebody even noticed me. And an apple was above and beyond. When people gave me food, it was love. All along, they had young Luftwaffe, meaning young pilots in the gray uniforms, and I couldn't help it but admired how handsome they were. And he was as far away as at the end of this, on the other side, and he worked by himself. I don't know where I got the idea that they were trained to know something about the airplane. One day, he calls to my master, saying, send her over because something fell into the wing. So I put my hand in there and found some too. From then on, periodically, kind of the other day, something got lost. I don't know if real or pretend, and my master sent me over, and I enjoyed it. I must enjoy the change of view. He couldn't look at me, he couldn't talk to me. There were guards beside the Unterschaffe, the guards walking up and down. One time I was there and I helping him in some way while he was on the other side looking away from me, and he said, hey, what a wonderful war. Isn't that a great war? Everybody's burned. Your mother, your father, your sisters, your brother. Isn't it a great war? What a wonderful war. He didn't talk so loud. He was looking away from me as if he's not looking at me. And then I realized that there was a great war. I mean, they were being killed and maimed and burned and things. One time, there was an air raid, and I go to the window, just freely looking out, and all of a sudden, I've heard the steps. Then I felt a breath on my neck, and the pilot was there. So I could feel the warmth of his body, put his hands on mine near the elbow. It was an amazing feeling, and it was completely erased that he was German. He was just a young man doing something clandestine, punished by death. And it was just a fantastic feeling. From then on, he called me over many times, and we didn't even talk to me, but I felt an exciting feeling. And I think my master may have known too, because he had too many things constantly lost. And one time he did bring me a gift. There were stockings. Everything you got, you put in your bosom. Everything had to be secret, had to look around to see if nobody's seeing it, because the women guards would too be terrible. And then he disappeared. I feel very sad now. I feel like crying. I don't know, it's for the lost youth, for the lost time, for the pilot. It kind of interesting to find out what he read or how he taught or if he knew who I was.
I'd often thought about wearing a star like this as being the real symbol of my Judaism, my sort of post-Holocaust Judaism.
If it wasn't for the Holocaust, I probably wouldn't be Jewish. My mother just would have grown up in Europe, and she would have moved to the States, and she would have married my father. I mean, if, of course. And I would just be, you know, an average guy. But because of the Holocaust, I am Jewish, and you know, for the Jews to play their role in the third millennia of the Common Era, I think that they have to integrate the Holocaust into their ethics, their consciousness, and their religious practices.
We were in the cattle car, maybe 2 days, 3 days, because they stopped the train. All of a sudden, we hear a big argument, commotion, outside talking. So we looked through the cracks and we saw people with wheelbarrow, with bread. I couldn't believe my eyes. So then we listened and we understood that they were arguing. The Germans said that they will take and give us the bread, but the Czech people say no, they want to give it directly. And we were very excited inside, who's going to win? But the German gave in. They gave me more than bread. They gave me the spirit, the hope. Maybe there's still goodness in life. Maybe there are other good people, not only evil and bad.
I would like to introduce the mayor.
Glad to see you. Welcome to
Thank you so much.
It's my great pleasure to have you here. And I'm very proud of our citizen 50 years ago.
That's for you
And for
and for people of Pilsner to represent that we're giving back the bread that the people of Pilsner gave to us. And to me, personally, it was the most wonderful food I ever ate in my life.
Yes.
My brother had commissioned a local bakery to make 150 loaves of peace bread and package them with a flyer. We hoped that by giving away the bread and notifying the press, we could find some of the people who would help.
Bread for you. You take a bread. Thank you
There
so
are
much.
people that remember the event.
Oh, really?
And they would like to meet you.
This lady?
Yes.
Oh, my God. So you gave the bread to me, to people like me? You gave it out?
Ano, můj tatínek měl velkou restauraci a tam se to všechno vařilo a my jsme to tam s vozejčkama vozili, to jídlo. Asi tam byli, nevím jestli 5, nebo tam byli 6 dní, 4, 5, 6 dní. A narodila se tam jedna holčička ve stanici. To bylo z toho transportu, přímo ve stanici se narodila ta holčička. Ano.
After giving away all the bread, we met privately with Yarka and her friend Vera to find out what they knew.
Chtěl by pán vědět ty dny, co se stalo. No to bylo bylo to strašné, bylo to něco strašného. Oni tam byli úplně v těch vagónech, jak dobyčata. Šílen to bylo. Protože ten přednosta na té stanici, to byl tatínkovo kamarád a když oni tam naříkali ty noci, to bylo šílen, oni úplně kvíleli. Představte si, že pršelo a oni měli nekrytý vagony. To byly 2 nebo 3 vagony byly nekrytý, až potom ten přednosta jim dal krytý vagony. A vzadu byli muži, ponejvíc myslím v Řekové, že tam byli. A to bylo strašného něco. Ty tam běhali pak úplně mezi námi nahý, když jsme to tam rozváželi, ty byli úplně jak šílen taky. Kdyby je to tak zajímalo, tak můj syn nebo zet by vzali auto a vzali bychom tam podívat paní.
Here on the left side is the building from railway station chief Mr. Pavlíček. Mr. Pavlíček was 3 times chief of railway station Horní Bříza. And Mr. Pavlíček gave the message and contacted his friends here in Horní Bříza and told to them that here on the second railway station is a transport with women and men from Mauthausen, Auschwitz and Recklinghausen and Freiburg. Mr. Pavlíček was dying after Second World War. His son was also dentist. We worked together. That's why I heard it from his son and also from my mother.
Do they have food for all the people?
Ano, všem.
All thousand?
To povolil ten velitel, to povolil.
Because the commandant received from my grandfather, from another people, some cognacs, and he said, okay, you can give food to all peoples. And all people here from the near were bringing to the
I saw in wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
No, byli to sami moji kamarádi, kdo zkrátka se nachomejt, tak to muselo být rychle.
The people who survived till the Americans, the Red Cross came, then they died. We couldn't save them. The only thing that's nice is that the weeping willow, weeping for all of us. There were no more Germans. The old-time couple prisoners were dressed up in Nazi uniforms.
I mean, they were like that even when you first got here?
Yes. Look at this, no dogs allowed here right now. Boy, they have dogs in my time. They sure allow them. They welcome them too.
What's that? Swimming pool?
Yeah, sure, that's what they drowned us. With the family? With the kinder too? We're free, we don't have to pay. Isn't that a privilege to have been here? Dankeschön.
So I guess this is the gas chamber that was intended for Mom.
I must say that Mauthausen had the greatest variety of ways of putting people to death, pushing them off a cliff here, you know, the parachutist approach according to the SS, working people to death, hauling blocks of stone up here, starving, what was it, 10 or 12,000 Russian soldiers to death, and using a water hose to kill old people down there in the washroom, plus the gas chamber. So they had it all.
imagine what my grandma would have felt. I can't imagine what I would have felt, what I would feel if my whole family was killed. I would feel so alone. I have to go through everything that she went through, being so young, no family.
She was right next to me. She was a little shorter, and I could hardly recognize her without her clothes. She was just bone, like a skeleton with, a skeleton with a rubber thing put over it, with two little bags for her breasts, and bow-legged. We did actually take a shower. We couldn't believe it. I can't tell you how it felt to take a shower, to wash all. Some things are so unbelievable. Oh my God.
Mixed up?
Mixed up.
Do I have your permission to have a glass of red wine?
The amazing thing about the camps are they're just beyond comprehension. Good.
Yeah. I can understand sort of a little bit by the pictures and the barracks, and they have, you know, at Auschwitz they had a whole room dedicated to the daily life of a camp prisoner. You know, I have some sort of an idea of what it would be like to live in a camp like that, but I have no idea what it would be like to be running a camp like that.
No sense of morality.
It was not even that, because for them that was their morals. You know, that for them, what they did, that was what they thought to be the right thing to do.
They fool people. They didn't. They knew it was wrong. They all ran away when the war was over. They knew it was wrong.
I'm very curious to find out, I mean, have any SS men written memoirs, or any of them come clean and saying that they've erred in their ways? No, you've never heard of one.
I would like to know how many of these people after the war were still going to church.
They still get pensions from Germany.
They were young, a lot of them were young girls.
Well, I thought they all got sentenced to death.
No.
Only about 20 of them.
The big leader.
Many more than that.
How many?
Hundreds.
Well, they're living in Canada now.
Every race that wasn't like them, they had plans to just completely wipe them out. All the political prisoners and all the people that I'm jealous of, let's just go get them. It was like people have been thinking about it for years and years and years. They've been thinking about this and getting worked up about it in their mind and like losing sense and just like going off the edge, you know?
That's true, but within that same framework, people went above and beyond the call of duty. They made sport out of it.
Yeah, you know what's weird is that the serial killers, people that take great enjoyment in torturing people, and usually they themselves have been abused. Like there's some reason why they're sick, but it seems like the Nazis are just sick because they've all were brainwashed. I mean, I don't know what makes.
Actually, they were all abused.
They were? Seriously?
Oh, Jonathan, please. Or maybe they would, but abused people don't go out killing.
All of them? No. Well, no, but there is definitely a correlation between children that were abused
Listen,
and
now we
tortured
know.
that then go out. That's why I do the work I do, is to keep, I have such a belief in working with abused children to keep them from then abusing and carrying on the tradition. That's what I do.
Every population, there are these same vicious people. And United States also, but if the social structure of democracy is very weak, what happens is that these vicious people can rise to the top.
So, und noch einmal. Is this warm? Is this
After liberation, my mother and Bluma returned to Poland to search for their families. Instead, they found continuing anti-Semitism and fled to a displaced persons camp in Landsberg, Germany, where they lived for 18 months. From there, it took 2.5 years and living in France, Bolivia, Brazil, and Miami before my mother finally found a home in New York City. I can't say I enjoyed our Holocaust vacation. It was hard on the family, and my wife got nightmares. Poland has a dark shadow hanging over it. There are thousands of mass graves of Jews murdered during the war. And Auschwitz, once you see it, it never goes away. Still, in many ways, the trip was good. I think it healed us, at least a little. We met some incredible people, like the mayor of Mashana Dolna, and it was important to understand the context of how my mother's family lived, not just how they died. So I am forever connected to this tragic land, not just because of the family grave, but because of its people. Within the immense darkness of the war, some stood up, like Yarka and her friends in Pilsen, or the German pilot, which is pretty much why I'm here. Without those little bits of love, I doubt my mother would have survived.
Papa? He thinks I'm a rock. He walks so around me. Kiss him, Nikki.